Guys, welcome to the video. This is about the Mpc 2.0.6 release that just came out. You now have the warp function straight from the Mpc Touch screen. Now, this is available on the X and the Live already, but it wasn't on the Mpc Touch. So for you guys that work with the Mpc Touch, such as me, this is a great update for the Touch. And you can find that function right here on the screen where it says warp. If you touch that, it will take you straight into the warp function on the program edit page. The warp function was already available on the software and we could use that previously, but now we have it straight from the hardware there on the Mpc Touch, which is great. Okay, let me just find the sound here for us to warp. Okay, we got some samples right here. I'm going to choose this one and let's warp it. What I do, I'm just going to tap on the warp there on the screen and it takes us to this screen, the program edit. Now this is the new face of the program edit on the Touch. And this screen, we can access it again from the main menu there on the screen, which is new. You can just tap on the program edit and there we go. We have the screen right there, which now it's new to the Touch. Select the pad, obviously, and then go for the warp function. And now right there from the program edit screen, we can go and stretch the sound and make it shorter, make it longer. It's up to you. Just tap on the stretch. You can double tap there on the percentage, and you can go up to 400. That's the maximum. Okay, and I must say that the actual the quality of the time stretch is pretty good. I do hear some metallic sounds right there, some artifacts, but not something that's too crazy. It can be easily masked with some filtering as well. Now, the other release that came out with the 2.0.6 is the ability to flatten a pad, and we're going to go and cover that as well. That's a great feature, okay? So if you go back to the program edit screen, we can see the icon right there at the top, which is the arrow pointing down, and that's the flatten pad option that it's now available for all the MPCs that work with the 2.0. Basically, what the flatten pad is, it's a bounce. It exports the sound that you have on a pad and it takes it onto a new one. So I stretch this sound and I can add more effects to it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into the modulation page. I'm just going to throw some craziness into it. I'm going to just play with the pitch, play with these parameters right here. I'm just going crazy with this just so you guys see what the flatten pad does. So add effects to it as well. I'm going to add some reverb to it. And once you tweak a pad and you like what you've done with the sound, you can export it onto a new pad and it releases all the tweaks, all the parameter adjustments that you did to that sound, and you are free to go and add new parameter adjustments to that sound again on a new pad or on the same pad. So at this point the sound is unrecognizable, and if I want to bounce it out, if I like the idea that I can export it with the flatten pad option. So let's go back into the warp there. It takes us to the program edit. Let's tap on the arrow and we have this option here to flatten the pad. And again, what it does, it bounces out the sound that's on the pad right there. And then you don't have an option. Now the thing is, you don't have an option to keep the sound onto another pad. It only allows you to flatten the pad to the same pad right there, and that will erase all the parameters that are assigned to that pad. Now, I saw a video of Akai on YouTube and it said that you would have the availability to bounce it to another pad, but I don't see that availability anywhere for you to actually flatten straight to another pad. So what I do basically, I just copy it before I flatten it, so I don't lose the parameters that are assigned to the pad. It might be an option that you might want to keep, and if you do want to keep those parameters, so I advise you to actually copy the pad before you flatten it, okay? So I'm going to just press copy and copy that pad to another pad, okay? And now I'm going to flatten the new pad. So let's go back now to the arrow, tap on it, and let's flatten the pad. You can rename the sound. Now it's done. And what happens if you have a look there, the warp function has been turned off. All the parameters on the pad have been turned off. There's no effects there, and there's no modulation changes there on the program edit for that pad. Okay, but on the other one, we still have those parameters changes that we made. So it's very important, because you might want to go back to that parameter and just do a small change in it. And if you flatten it to a pad, you will lose all the work that you spent working on that sound. So you might not want to lose those parameters. Now let's go into the grid view, and this is another thing that I want to show you guys. From the grid view, we now have a few more options if we hit shift. Let's listen to this beat first. Now I'm working with this okay, let's go back into the grid view again. Now if you press the shift button, we now have cut, copy, paste, sew and mute straight from the grid view. This obviously, going to speed up my workflow. At least I know it will speed up other people's workflows as well, because you can delete multiple samples, multiple MIDI notes at the same time just by selecting it. You can have a listen just to that track just to make sure what you're doing is right. It's really helpful if you're trying to create the beat there on the grid view. Really, they seem to be like really small changes, but they actually speed up the workflow. These are the updates that I wanted to speak about on this video. There are more, and I'm going to cover the other ones on videos to come. Guys, thank you for watching. If you have questions, do ask. I'll get some videos up for you guys on that. And thanks to everyone who's been following, and you have a good one. Okay, thank you very much.